Now they don't sit on the 40 acres on campus grounds. We gather round, discussing goals and dreams and life's adventures. The Texas Longhorns, they the talk of the town. Podcast tales of the 40 acres, where we dive deep into the game day stories, from touchdowns to heartbreakers. We discuss it all, Texas Longhorns glory. There we gather round each Thursday night, talking sports, it's so alright. From football to basketball, baseball to softball, Tim Wayne and Harry, we cover it all. Sports talk is our passion, our delight. Thursday night at 8:30, we unite. We discuss the scores, the plays, the teams you might. Let's dive into the game, let's ignite.
12 conference champions.
What is going on? What's up, you guys? This is the Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast with your boy Harish and my boy Tim Wayne. Tim Wayne, how you doing tonight, bro?
Man, overjoyed. Overjoyed is the feeling. Less than a few days away. And with the information that we have gotten today and what's to come over the weekend, boy, oh boy, what a weekend. What do we have? What a weekend that we have coming up.
We have a lot to talk about, and I knew that we were going to get an information dump today, like the Road to Glory. A couple things. First off, I was disappointed that we didn't get like a Road to Glory deep dive video.
Right.
Then we got the Road to Glory QJB video, which was 100 times better.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, Not the Expert dropped the Dynasty video, and we finally got to see this Dynasty mode getting played in actual time. And my God, Tim, I think at one point, I texted you and I said, Tim, this is going to be the greatest sports video game of all time. And I have zero doubts about that. I've seen enough. I think at the gameplay, when I saw the gameplay deep dive video, I was like, damn, this game's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And now I'm convinced.
QJB, first off, if you guys don't know who QJB is a YouTuber. This guy's been doing Madden content for a very, very long time. He's done a lot of 2K content for a long period of time, where he basically does single player. Like if you're familiar with the 2K series, like My Player, Madden, for all my guys that are Madden fans, he does superstar modes and creative player modes, basically where he creates a player, he goes to a team, and he tries to make that team better, whether it's a sorry team or a team that's already stacked. He tries to make the team better. And he doesn't use like super godly type of builds. He usually does, the normal build for that player or for that specific I guess position, and goes from there. He's not going to be a 7-foot cornerback or 7-foot safety that's got 99 speed, 99 awareness, 99 everything. He usually makes a decent player, or a decent player, and then he tries to like build them up. So he dropped about 2 hours ago. He dropped about 2 hours ago, and he dropped
5 hours ago.
5 hours ago. Okay, well, I've been rewatching that over and over and over. And apparently there's a couple of other creators out there that have dropped videos today. I haven't watched them. I'll be watching them tonight for sure. So he dropped Road to Glory, which, don't get me wrong, we read the Road to Glory very in-depth, very detailed, like verbatim, like line by line, well thought out articles, right? These articles that they're putting out are massive, and they're detailed. They've got screenshots and everything like that. I posted about it on TikTok. If you guys want to check out a couple of screenshots, you can definitely head over to our TikTok at Longhorn Fan Battle, and you'll see that information there as well. However, QJB dropped a hour and a half,
give or take,
hour and a half Road to Glory, where he went through an entire freshman season.
Yep.
And it was glorious. It
was cool.
It was everything that I wanted and more.
Yeah, no, it was really good, and we'll talk about QJB is World to Glory video. We'll also talk about Not the Experts Dynasty video, which is where we'll spend a lot of time. That video
is also very impressive.
And then we'll talk about the content creators versus pros games this weekend.
Yep.
If you guys have seen, Quentin Ewers is going to play Sketch, which. It should be. I guess it happens Saturday and Sunday. So 13th and 14th, and of course the game comes out Monday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, so 3 p.m. Central.
3 p.m. 3 p.m. Okay, my bad.
So, and if you are in New Zealand,
wink.
That's technically Sunday night at 10 p.m. Just saying.
Done. I listen, I am in a bind. Listen, just hear me out. I'm in a bind. Here's why. I have a physical copy. I do not have a digital copy.
Welcome to 2024.
Listen, okay, but I understand what you're saying. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. I have a physical copy that I'm going to be picking up Monday. Now, here's the thing. I don't necessarily know if they're going to do something on Sunday night at GameStop. For all of you guys that don't know, I was a store manager at GameStop for over a year, which was one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my life. My district manager. But other than that, I did enjoy actually working there because of the people that I knew there, and it was in my neighborhood. And when you're in your neighborhood, you see these people all the time. They recognize you, you recognize them. It makes the situations a lot easier, right? Shout out to some Longhorns, because I sold some PlayStations to some Longhorns over the years. And so that was cool. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do without I'm thinking about going digital, but I want the locker and I want the jersey. And I
just want the damn game, bro. I don't really care about the locker. At first, I was like, you know what? Maybe I will buy a physical copy of the standard edition when it comes out, on Friday, right? Just so I can have the physical box. I might not even buy it Friday. I might wait a couple months until it goes on sale, right? So I was like, because essentially I'll be buying a disc for like $30, right?
Right.
And because I do want to be able to commemorate this moment. But I'm ready to roll. I got the MVP bundle. I don't care if people laugh at me. I did pay for Madden because I'm going to buy Madden anyway. I have played the Madden 25 beta. and I really like it. I think it's going to be real.
I was impressed.
They've taken a lot of things that college football 25 is doing,
like they've
and
always
they
done.
put it into their game. You know why? Because now they can easily copy and paste code. It is that simple. They don't have to. Now, things like wear and tear and things like that are a little bit more sophisticated. But things like the hit stick, the switch stick, that's now in Madden, right? The kicking meter that's in Madden. There's a lot of features that you will start to see tested in college football 25 first. And once it works, they will easily just copy and paste the code. It's not going to change. They might tweak it here and there, right? But it's a lot easier to tweak the code than it is to build new code. And it's just that simple. That's just how development works. So, but anyway, we have been talking for about 12 minutes and we haven't paid the bills. So let's pay the bills real quick. Oops. That's all right. I pay the bills too, so that's okay. I won't get mad at myself for not paying the bills. All right.
I could do it too.
FanBattlesports.com. FanBattlesports.com, where you can find the latest and greatest from the AFC South, including the what are the teams in that? Oh yeah, the Titans, the Texans.
The Titans just got Jamal Adams, by the way.
Jamal Adams is washed, so they are going to go. They're going to go be excited about another guy that hasn't been good in about 4 years.
You're listen. I'm not a Titans fan at all. You're tripping, bro.
I can give you the stats. You know what? Since you want to go there, let me tell you what Jamal Adams did last year. He was first. This is in his position, right? The third worst missed tackle rate in the league. 10th worst in receiving percentage allowed, 12th lowest in forced fumble and incompletion percentage, 11th highest QB passer rating allowed. It was last in interceptions, last in sacks, last in forced fumbles, and he gave up a run defensive grade of 58.
He had one bad year, so what?
He's washed him. He hasn't been good since 2020.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing, man.
But anyway, FanBattlesports.com, where you can go. Well, Tim's now apparently a Mayo Eaton Titans fan, so let's go ahead.
Whoa. I never said I was a Titans fan. I like Jamal Adams. I like how he plays.
You know who the Titans are? The Titans are the NFL version of the Aggies. That's who the Titans are. I finally found a comparison.
That, sir, is disrespectful.
That's not disrespectful.
That is.
They get excited about every little thing that appears to be okay, and they overhype the hell out of it.
You, sir, are disrespectful.
That's not disrespectful. That's exactly
what you're disrespectful. You're disrespectful. Nobody is
their fans act like Aggie fans too.
Nobody is as bad as A&M when it comes to fandom. Not even Cowboys fans, and I'm a Cowboys fan. The Aggies
Aggie fans are. Here's the thing: Aggie fans, they're annoying, but they're also really dumb, and they're also part of a cult. Like I would not classify Cowboys fans as being in a cult.
No. We might be a little delusional.
They're in a cult.
We might be a little delusional. We might be a little,
delusional for sure. But y'all are in a cult.
Yeah.
If y'all, I like you a lot, man. Be honest with you. If Cowboys were a cult, you wouldn't be my best friend. I'm just being honest with you.
I wouldn't be in a cult. As much as I love the Cowboys, I'm also very honest about what the Cowboys and what they do. I'm also like my mom. I love my mom because my mom's not a bullshit. My mom will tell me what it is straight up. We're not in any position as of right now to be like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. No. We need to knock our players down right now. We need to lock our players down the best way we know how. Okay, we need to pay our players, and we need to figure out what we're gonna do with the coach, because we've got a coach that lied about watching Cowboys film. We got a quarterback that was in a boot that just recently got out of a boot.
Yeah, here
with his leg,
playing his thing over there at the weddings.
That was actually hilarious. His suit was nice though. Nice.
I love a nice suit. It was nice. I will give him that.
Nice suit. But yeah, we're Beyonce with bad breath, bro. We look good from far away, but until you get, and then when you get on top of it, you're like, ooh, good Lord, like what's going on?
That's an interesting comparison. All right. So the Cowboys are Beyonce with bad breath. Okay.
Have you ever seen a really good looking woman and then you walk up on her, get up a little bit closer, and you're like, something's off?
Yeah, I went on a date with one and I never saw her after that.
What was that?
I went on a date with one and I didn't see her after that.
Fair enough. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that was interesting. Anyway, so yeah, the delusional Titans fans, the Texans fans who are entering delusional territory, and the Jaguars fans who left it last year because they found out what the truth really was. FanBattleSports.com. Also, I'm working on getting us a page on FanBattle Sports. Having some technical difficulties with our WordPressing right now. But I'm working on getting that updated. We will have articles this season. Probably we need to start establishing when season 2 of our show starts because we've been doing season 1 for a long time. We will probably start season 2 of this show officially. Probably when actually it might even be next week because SEC Media Days kind of. Technically, July 1st is like the new football season, so that's when we should start a new season. Yeah. But yeah, we will have season 2 probably starting next week. So, FanBattleSports.com. Also follow us on Twitter. We are on our way to 2,700 followers. We would like to get to 3,000. I want to get to 3,000 by the time the first game comes around. That's not that far off. That's about 45 days from now. So help us get to 3,000. We really, really appreciate it. We're going to have a big year this year with lots to talk about. We're going to have some really cool guests. I'm working with trying to get a lot of guys inside of the Texas Longhorn world, outside of the Texas Longhorns world, talking to a few people now, trying to get a few players on the show before their respective seasons get going. So follow us on Twitter, keep up with all the information there. And of course, follow us here on YouTube. We did hit 50 subscribers last week. We appreciate you. We just keep following. Of course, like below, subscribe, comment. And yeah, we appreciate all the support and all the updates. And thank you so much. All righty, Tim. Let's get to it.
Right. Before we do that, I do want to pay my respects to Monty Kiffin that passed away today. He was 82 years old.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Father to Lane Kiffin, who is the head coach at Ole Miss. For y'all that don't know, I'm going to nerd out for like 2 seconds here. Monty Kiffin was one of the innovators, or is the innovator for the Tampa 2 defense. That is a lot of base defenses nowadays. That's one of the first defenses I learned as a kid is the Tampa 2 defense because although it is a simple formality, it is also very complex. You can do a lot of things with it, and you can disguise it to do a lot of things. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the ones who perfected it. For sure, they won a Super Bowl utilizing it. A lot of other teams utilize it even to this day. But so, rest in peace to Monty Kiffin. Thoughts and prayers to the Kiffin family. That dude right there was a great football mind, a great football mind. He was in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, Monty Kiffin was really smart man, and it's just one of those guys that he was all over the place. He helped a lot of different teams with a lot of different offenses.
Yeah,
obviously his son Lane Kiffin, another great offensive mind to the game. They really helped push the game forward from an offensive standpoint. So
Monty Kiffin created the Tampa 2 defense, not the offense. Not an offense. He's a defensive guy.
Oh yeah, Tampa 2. He's the one that put it in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
fair enough. But
yeah, thoughts and prayers to that guy.
Yes, sir, and his family, and Lane Kiffin, and the entire Kiffin family. I know Lane Kiffin's not a popular name.
But still, man, you only get one parent. You get 2 parents in your life, man, if you're lucky. and that man's dad is like synonymous with football. Like he's in like the NFL Hall of Fame. Like he's gonna be remembered forever. Like that's crazy, man. Like that's dope, man. To be like, hey, my dad created a defense that people still use this day. So anyway, college football 25.
Where do you want to start?
We're okay. Let me just start out by asking this question again, based on what all of the stuff that you've seen, how have you felt since this entire week? What are your thoughts on what you've seen this week?
Let's see. Well, let me start with something that was really disappointed in were the ratings reveal yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of those weird EA things where they don't their wording is just so terrible.
Right.
Because clearly the wording on the poster that they put out earlier this week or over the weekend said full roster reveal.
Full roster.
We have still only gotten the top 100. Now, obviously through footage that has shown up today and through other sources, you know, we have found out what some of these other ratings are. And I do want to go through that. That'll be part of our discussion today. We're going to listen, guys, we're going to show. This is going to be a long show today. We're going to have so much to talk about. But I think that's probably something that I'm most disappointed about. I honestly think the best content we got today was that video from Not the Expert.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the best content we've gotten this entire time has been that video. We wanted, and I think it's just mostly because the Dynasty deep dive is really cool. The video was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The deep dive was really, really awesome, right? But it was really long.
Right.
I think actually seeing it in action, the recruiting is not as intimidating as it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very simple, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I really wanted to see is like it's very in depth. It's in depth, but it's simple, and that's exactly what they were going for.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, we had Matt Brown on the show. We've had him on twice. We had him on most recently. I want to say like about a month ago. No. We had him on after that.
We had him on. Yeah. Right after the trailer dropped, or right before the trailer dropped.
Yep. So we had it on about a month ago, and he talked about, hey, one of the things they wanted to make sure of was they wanted to make sure that the detail of recruiting was there, but that it was still accessible by the casual audience. And I think this is very, very accessible by the casual audience. The one thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to recruiting now is two things. And I think this is number one. I think this is just EA showing it off. Number two, I think it's probably been tweaked. The fact that he was a 1-star school and he got a 5-star quarterback and a 4-star receiver is very concerning to me.
Well, yeah. I don't necessarily know, and we don't necessarily know, but even in previous NCAA games, and I'm going to assume that this is going to be the same way, that you can adjust the recruiting levels. Remember in the previous games, you could do it at freshman, varsity, All-American, and Heisman. Most of the time, it defaulted as varsity. So, shout out to World Vision.
Yeah. What up, World Vision? Let's go, my guy. We are very excited.
But yeah, I'm hoping that he just adjusted the difficulty, because
that's the one thing
to be fair, he was playing with Kennesaw State. He wasn't playing very good. He wasn't. The guy that was playing was not very good.
I just think Kennesaw State is not a very good team.
That's fair. That too.
And I think that that's literally the point. If you are Kennesaw State, you are going to get your ass kicked by Georgia. That's literally the point.
To be fair, and we didn't really talk on this because we were in a party earlier today, but we didn't really get to connect on this. But there was, with these type of videos, I imagine, with them playing in the beta and getting access to the beta, there were things that they could not do. And I'm pretty sure there was a list of things that EA wanted them to cover prior to them like doing things. So like me and JD, we were in a party and we were talking during the video, and he was like, yo, why is he trying to make a why is he trying to make it like a coverage check, or not a coverage check? Why is he trying to make an audible in Georgia Stadium and he's cold? I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't have done that. I would pick the play that I know that I want to run and go from there. I wouldn't try to make any audibles until I can either quiet that team down or make some type of big play to quiet the stadium down so that I can make the adjustments that I want to make. But what I think is happening is he had an itinerary where he had to cover, check. Okay, when you play Georgia or when you play a big team, show the audience that you're trying to make an adjustment in the stadium and you can't because you're a lower rated team. That's what I think happened a lot. It was still good. I still enjoyed it. But I think that's what the main point of those videos and what the videos that we've seen and are to come over the weekend, they all have an itinerary that they will hit. And we know this. We've seen this before. We've seen this before.
Very scripted. Yeah. If you and women's wrestling highlights, I see your comment. I'm very excited to get to it because I noticed this too, and I think this is I think it's gonna be addressed in what I'm about to talk to. If you guys notice when they start these videos, they say, "Hey, thanks to EA Game Changers program, blah 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 blah, for letting me."
Game Changers has been around for a long time. Game
Changers has been around forever. They are expecting they're very selective in who they pick because they want to get certain things across the board, right? One of the things they wanted to get across the board is it's not going to be easy to beat Georgia, the number one team in the country, a top 10 team that's, one of the loudest places to play, as a one-star team. Because guess what? In real life, that's not factual. And it's not going to
rare.
It's very, very rare.
It doesn't happen.
Appalachian State's not going to go to the big house and win 9 times out of 10, right? It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But what they're trying to accomplish is these are the features we're trying to show off. I don't think these videos are as scripted as that, but I do think it's like, hey, I want you throughout the video to show off how difficult it is to make changes to this, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so you notice that he says, dude, I've done this like 5 or 6 times because I want to know how long is it going to take me before I'm able to make this route combination adjustment.
Right.
And which brings me to this point. Can someone please explain why college football 25 commentary sounds so low compared to the crowd and the footage I just seen? I can barely hear the announcers, and I hope I don't have to lower the crowd. I think that might be tuning. If you listen to the commentary in the video, I'm gonna step back a little bit. The one thing I really wanted to hear is the commentary.
Right.
And when I first heard it for the first time, bro, I almost had tears down my eyes. It felt like, not only did it feel fresh, but it didn't feel scripted.
No. And that goes to, Kirk Herbstreit and the guys and David Pollock and a number of guys that have been recording, and they've been recording for years. So this isn't just this isn't your typical college football game where you have 10, maybe 11 months where, you got to get stuff down the pike. You got to kind of get these things going. They didn't have a college football season that they had to work around. I mean, they did, but they had more time. Like, we forget, and a lot of people forget, this game was supposed to come out 2 years ago. It didn't come out 2 years ago. They delayed it. And then when they delayed it for a year. This game was supposed to come out in 2022. Or I'm sorry, 2023. I'm sorry. 2023.
It was supposed to come out last year, and they delayed it.
So they delayed it. So they have an opportunity within that time. And again, they were recording during COVID. So they had opportunities to really just sit there And from what I remember Reese Davis mentioning it about what him and Kirk Herbstreit were doing. They were basically just watching football and just talking and recording it and sending it into EA, and then EA would give them scenarios and different teams, and they would just kind of like, I don't know if they were breaking it down weeks by weeks. They probably were doing team by team, either a day, every other day, let them get some rest their vocal cords and stuff like that, and go from there. So yeah, it does sound fresh. Everything sounds fresh. To answer women's wrestling highlights, I think what the situation is if your crowd is loud, it's also going to affect the commentary around you, because you're in the game, you're playing the game. Forget the commentary. You need to focus on the game. The commentary is for the outsiders. You're supposed to be in the game. So is the crowd focused? And I remember this again. I'm playing other older titles, the NCAA 14s, 12s, and the 13s, and it's kind of like that right now. Now, could you adjust the crowd noise? The commentary. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. That's always been a thing. One thing EA's been good about is when it comes to adjusting volumes within a sports game, they're top notch with that. You can find a really good, level for you and then go from there. And if you want to lower the crowd, I'm pretty sure there's an opportunity or a place for you to get in there and turn that crowd noise down. But it will still be effective in game. It's going to be loud if you're at Georgia. It's going to be loud if you're at LSU. It's going to be loud if you're at A&M, period. That's just the nature of the beast when they're talking about these specific, especially the top 25, right? So I think I hope that answers your question, women's wrestling highlights. Please highlights. If you continue to have any questions or if you have any comments, please let us know. We'll answer them to the best of knowledge that we have. Harish, I wanted to ask you in regards to what we've seen so far as you mentioned commentary. What presentation wise, and we're probably, I don't know if we're ever going to get into this. I don't know if we're going to get into this now or get into this later. Presentation wise, this is probably the best thing EA presentation wise has had in a long time, in a very, very long time. Sports game wise, this is one of the best things that I've seen in a long time. I purposely kind of lowered my expectations on what to expect college football wise. I've always been a fan of what they've done in the past as far as these games. I think honestly, maybe the only game that I just really wasn't a fan of was NCAA 08 and NCAA 11. Those kind of reminded me of the same way. They were a lot more, I don't know, the presentation was kind of off. But what were your thoughts on the presentations of all the modes that you've seen over the last couple of days? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'll tell you this, right? I had very, very high expectations because if you remember the first video they put out, or the first deep dive they put out on gameplay, their slogan was, right, is everybody is a fan of a school, right? That's essentially what they built this game. If you were to look at everybody has a vision, and then you have pillars, and if you're looking at strategy, right? The strategy of the game when they were building this game was every fan is a fan of the school, or it's something along those lines, right? Or every school has a fan or something like that. Every school has their own fans, and they wanted to respect each and every single one of those 134 schools and treat them uniquely because, you're a fan of Texas. We're fans of Texas. I'm making this up. World Vision might be a fan of LSU. Women's wrestling highlights, they could be fans of Arkansas State, right? And they wanted to make each one of these experiences unique because, and that is something that they had said from the start. And knowing the older games and knowing that they've reached pretty close to those limits. I had very, very high expectations, and they've not only met those expectations, they have exceeded those expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And earlier today we posted on our Twitter, and I think I posted it on TikTok. Maybe I didn't. When Texas scores a touchdown, the cannon goes off.
Right.
That is a big thing for Texas, right?
Yeah.
And I think, like, as a Texas fan, that is something.
That's a tradition that when Texas scores. Yeah.
When you score, kickoff, when you do all those things, the cannon goes off, right? Big events. The cannon went off during the when we were doing the SEC celebration. Like, that's something that happens at the University of Texas. It is specific to that university. There's a video that Not the Expert put out later, and it was kind of really focused on presentation. And one of the cool things was North Carolina. They have this guy who's like a famous guy, and he wore the number 22. Well, I didn't know this until I saw this. North Carolina, for this guy, specifically colors on their field, the 22-yard line is in blue. That is in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like little things like that only these fan bases would know about. I didn't know that was a thing until I saw this video. Like,
well, when you think about that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Matt. Matt really gave us a lot of information that were kind of in between the hedges because he couldn't give us the information because he was under NDA. But without him telling us exactly what it was, and again, with us being associated and kind of being former employees, we kind of know what to expect. We knew what they were going to do. I just didn't think they were going to go that far. They went above and beyond.
They went deep. Yeah, it went really
deep, dude. Like when Matt was talking about, hey, I got in contact. I can't remember what team or what specific team, but he was like, I remember him mentioning like, hey, like I talked to some team or some school. We'll just say LSU, right? I remember him saying, hey, I got in contact with LSU and asked them for the documents that they sent to EA Sports, and they sent them to him, and it was like 1,000 pictures of the stadium. 1,000 pictures of a stadium is crazy. Like, what do you need 1,000?
I didn't know they took that many pictures.
Like it was an obscene amount of numbers of like pictures and things of like that was sent to him. The fact that like even within I believe a couple articles ago, Matt mentions how they took each like this $30,000 machine and they scanned every trophy. So every trophy is in this game. Like every trophy. Again,
like every rivalry trophy,
yeah, we've seen it in the past, but to think like to get the detail, the devil in the details, the devil is in the details. So to hear exactly what they did to get to that point is crazy.
Yeah, check this out, and I'm gonna turn audio on. I think I can do it here because I want you to see this. This is actually really cool. Be careful if you have a guest; they will hear themselves. Oh, let me know if you can hear this.
Okay.
It's like he gave me so much that I try to pack this video full of gameplay, presentation, cool stuff for you guys. If we travel a short distance from South Carolina to North Carolina, there's a very tiny detail that's incredible to actually see in the game. If you're a diehard UNC fan, you know all about Charlie Choo Choo Justice, who famously wore the number 22 while he played for UNC's football team during the late 1940s. To honor Justice, the 22-yard hash marks on UNC's football field at Kenan Stadium are Carolina blue. It's a ridiculously small detail that most people will probably think to never add.
Like what?
From the 1940s? That's crazy.
The 22-yard line from from almost 80 years ago.
Listen, boys, this again. I don't. You know what? I don't care if I sound like I'm glazing. I don't care if I sound like.
No, I'm glazing. All right.
I don't care, bro. This is insane. The 22-yard line. And again, you might say, hey, what's the big deal about the 22-yard line? He just explained it. Like, that's a college tradition. That's what they do. Yeah. That's what they do. That's not something that was just brought up. That's not a new tradition that they created a couple years ago. They've been doing it for 80 years.
Yeah. And it's in the game.
And it's in the game. That's crazy. I remember kind of going back a couple years ago, prior to FIFA coming out. I can't remember what FIFA that was, but remember there was a small football club that was like one of the worst clubs in their division, and they won, and they dedicated their goal to somebody, like either somebody that had passed away, and it was like yellow. I can't remember this, but it was like a big deal.
Not sure.
Like the FIFA community went nuts because, again, this is a smaller football club. You know, they had been regulated for a long period of time because they just weren't good. And then they won their, I don't want to butcher it, but I'm going to say they won their division. And then, they got, bumped up, and they they did something to their goal where they like put a gold ribbon on it or something of that nature to dedicate to a guy that like passed away.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that happened. We were there when that happened. I just can't remember what year it was. I don't know if it was 17 or 18 that year they did that.
Are you talking about the Brazilian team?
No, not the Brazilian team that where they crashed and they all passed. Yeah. Not that, but it's kind of something similar. Like, not to be morbid, but like they did something very similar. They dedicated, they did a dedication within the game. That's dope. Like, the fact that they went above that. But think about this from a college football standpoint, they did it 139 times. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, listen, I'm not an A&M fan, but the 12th man was rocking, boy. It looked good, man.
Low key though, that Reveille running out in the Road to Glory. I just got to that part in the Road to Glory video. That was kind of lit.
That was kind of cool. Listen.
I want to see that intro again and then lose like 100-0 and post it on social media. But I mean, that was kind of cool. The actual Reveille 10.
I'm literally going to make it a point to literally play as every team on that game at some point in time throughout the year. I'm gonna make it a
point. Somebody's gonna make a video of all 134 entrances.
I have to play it, dude. I gotta play it on my own. Like I've got to experience it on my own. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's rivalries. I don't care if it's I don't care, dude. It's just so much detail. And Harish, I haven't watched that yet. So that's mind blowing to me. First off, the fact that dude hurdled over another guy was crazy looking. That was a great hurdle.
That was pretty cool. Like the actual playing it's on itself was pretty dope. And then I was like, well, why is he why he was like North Carolina and he showed him like hurdle another guy. I was like, well, that is kind of cool, I guess, but that's interesting. And then he started telling the story. I was like, oh, that's cool. But even in the screenshot, right? I'll show it again. They even put like the exact details on where like every road team sits.
Right.
In every in every stadium.
Right.
Like, hey, in the Texas stadium, you will see the band sit in the top right hand side of the stadium because that's where we put the band, and we put them in the that top level in that corner.
Yep.
That's where we put them because that's where we think they will be the least ineffective. But it's just details like that. And I think that's probably the thing that I thought throughout this entire process that I was the most curious about is they talked about doing this a certain way. So I had a very, very high expectation. And even with that high expectation, they have exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. This has been a very, very very, very, outside of the ratings, and I don't know, whenever you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. That's honestly that's when I was like, that's when I was like, come on, dog, y'all dropped the ball. Like y'all are supposed to drop all the teams. I need to see all the teams. I need to see all the rosters. They didn't do it that way, but that's how it was worded. That's how it was worded. Is it was worded in a tweet that they were going to drop a team rankings. That's so when you say team, you include the whole roster. That's what that is. They didn't do that. That's fine. They made up for it today. I'm looking forward to Team Builder tomorrow.
Well, is it going to be? It has to be tomorrow, right? Because it says it'll be next, but it doesn't give a date.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's right. At the end of that article, they did not give us.
I think it's gonna be tomorrow.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's literally the weekend before the game.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, I think they're gonna shadow drop it tomorrow too. I think, hey, here's the deep dive, and it's available now.
Do you happen to have any information? And we talked about this, I think, either last week or maybe earlier this week, when we did that pop up. Do you remember any information about what this extra feature that we don't necessarily know about that's supposed to come? Do you have any insights on that?
Oh, the big surprise?
Right.
Oh, that was the Arch Manning announcement.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they were like, hey, it's not like a game breaking thing, but it's something that's just really cool. And it was Arch Manning. And it was Arch Manning, announcing he was going to be in the game. Which, by the way, he did it in the most Texas Longhorn way possible. That guy belongs to Texas. He knows. Arch Manning knows how to be a Texas Longhorn. Shout out to Arch Manning. Arch Manning knows how to be a Texas Longhorn. He knows how to stay relevant.
And shout out to everybody that was like, Arch Manning said he didn't want to be in the game because he didn't want to be. What was he saying? He didn't want to be distracted.
He didn't want to be a distraction.
He didn't want to be a distraction. Basically, I think what that was like, I'm going to be an ambassador of this game. His rating is cool. His rating is nasty.
Listen, I'm going to figure it out this weekend. I'm going to figure out how to get my Xbox in here and record on my PC. I'm doing an Arch Manning Texas rebuild. And it's going to be Arch Manning, and it's going to be a rebuild with I basically only have the amount of time that he's there to attempt.
Yeah, because you don't have.
I'm not going to tell you what it is because I got a different idea behind it. But
is that what you shared with me earlier?
Coming from here, huh?
Is that what you shared with me earlier?
Yeah, it's going to be that, but I'm going to add more criteria to it.
That's nuts. That is. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to add some more criteria to it.
Are you gonna wait? What level are you gonna play on though? Are you gonna play on Heisman, All American? Like how?
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not Heisman. What the hell? I barely play on All American, my guy.
Oh my gosh! Don't be one of those guys. Come on, man, play on Heisman.
Listen here, Tim Wayne. I am one of those guys, and I'm not embarrassed to talk about it.
Man, I play on Heisman, and I just get bum rushed. If I get bum rushed, I get bum rushed. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Listen. I'm all for that. I don't have a problem with it. That's the only way you're gonna learn how to play the game. You're gonna take some L's.
Well, you know what? I don't like taking. I'm gonna take. Well, here's the kicker. I take L's on All American, and I'm gonna play every single game.
That's fair.
That's what's gonna build up the longevity of the rebuild. All right.
I think with that team currently and the way it's rated, you're gonna be able to. I mean, outside of Georgia, maybe Ole Miss. I gotta
go to the hardest place to play year one.
No, they come to Texas, but you do have to go to Michigan.
I'm gonna simulate the first year and start in year two. Yeah.
Okay, but you do got to go to Michigan though. That's gonna be. Woo.
We go to Michigan this year, so they come here.
I don't know if I'm gonna actually. To be honest with you, I don't know this year if I'm actually gonna play as a dynasty with the Texas Longhorns.
I am.
I'm going to be so concerned about our online dynasty. I'm going to be concerned about, I'm not going to lie, Road to Glory won me over with
Road to Glory is going to be a blast.
I cannot stress how good these content creators have put this shit together. I don't know the time frame on how long they had to play the game.
Content creators. Recording the video is just one thing, right? But putting it together in a way that's presentable and making sure you get the right clips, making sure you it's like making a movie, right? Like it's making sure you get the right things, the right information, the right stuff at the right time with the perfect timing, with the right words.
Could you imagine what they had to do to get that much info? Like,
yeah,
I mean, to get that much.
In this scenario, you probably have a condensed timeline because you've now got to meet EA's timeline because they want this stuff to be out in a certain amount of time.
Right.
So you have that pressure. Hey, you're going to be the very first person to do a rebuild in this game that's brand new, that hasn't been out for 11 years. It needs to be out by 3:00 at this time. Oh, by the way, it's only Monday.
Right. And you don't have long to play it. And once you're done, you're not playing it anymore.
They're still playing the game. Now, at this point, now that these are out, they're playing the game and they're going to continue to make content for the game.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but this Not the Expert guy, he is the first guy to make a video on this game. He was the first person to drop a video 12 years after the game came out, and he had to get it done at this time.
And he has 30,000 people watching his YouTube channel.
30,000.
QJB had, I think, and these are not small content creators either.
No, these are some of the big ones.
2 million people on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, these are some of the biggest of the biggest. So I think the other thing I really like, and we're just going to do Dynasty, right? We're going to talk about Dynasty now that we've seen it. And then we'll talk about the rosters to end the show. The one thing that's continued to impress me about this game is the UI and the structure of everything that they've put into this. And then the other thing that's really impressive is as you go through it, how smooth. We complain about every single game of how things lag, how it takes time to do things, how it's just not seamless enough. This is another reason why it's important that they got that extra time, because it gives them time to optimize the code so that it can run this smoothly. Like the code optimization is so important, and people don't understand how hard it is to optimize code in real time. It's not easy to do, especially when it's in a production environment. It is very, very hard to optimize code when code is live because it's so hard to simulate what's happening in real time. So this game just UI wise, simple, it's beautiful, and it just like little details like you can see like the little chalk scratching inside of the star. Like that is cool stuff. Like it's just things like this. So he picks Kennesaw State. You see who it is. You know their prestige right off the bat, what their overalls are, what scheme they run right off the bat, what defense. And this is it. This is your player selection screen.
Yep. That's how it's cool. And you know what? That's how it should be. That's the thing about college. College is it's simple, but it's complex at the same time, dog. Like
And actually, I don't care that I talk about this, so I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, do it.
Because I just don't care. We talk about the play selection screen and how it's easy for Madden to copy and paste. This is a great example. I didn't know this is what this looked like, but Madden uses this exact same layout.
Yep, for the most part. Yep,
it's pretty much the exact same layout, and all it is was college football did it. Madden liked it. They copied and pasted the code. That's literally all they did. This is if you do franchise mode in Madden 26, it'll look just like this. Confirmed.
Yeah. For Madden 26, this is what that looks like. Yes, they literally copied and pasted it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like it.
No, listen, if they could copy and paste something so simple as that already looks good, it gives them more time to work on other things.
Exactly.
So you got the three baseline. He explained. See, when they explained this in the deep dive, it was so confusing.
Right.
But now, it's not as hard as it looks because you're seeing it in action. So you get 3 main skill trees, right? You get the motivator, the recruiter, the tactician. They do all different things. The motivator, if you want a guy that develops guys for the next level, you want a motivator. Essentially, is what you need. If your composure is important, if your your ability to to get the most out of your current team that's there, then you want to be a motivator. Recruiter, very straightforward. If you're a recruiter, then you're a guy that is trying to get the best out of the transfer portal. You're also working to get the best high school prospects out. And a lot of the skill trees that you do can get that as a whole. And then you can even go in as you get deeper and deeper into the skill trees, be able to focus on certain, and I don't know what's going on here. To get deeper and deeper on specific, okay, now it's working. On specific positions, right? So he goes through that. Very simple stuff. He selected the recruiter. If you haven't seen this, I'm sorry. I think, again, it's just the UI in here, right? You go and create your coach. It's just more about how simple this game was built. This looked very, very clean.
The UI for the players and coaches.
The UI for the players is awesome.
The UIs for the players and coaches are some of the best UIs I've seen. I'm gonna show my age here. Back when 2K11 was out, that was like the same UI that they use in My Player and 2K. It kind of looked the same. Basically, you just had your player. When you wanted to make changes to your player, it would reflect as soon as you got out of the changes. Your main player would be there. He would sit there. You want to change, put a tattoo on him. Cool. You can put a tattoo on him. As soon as you make the change, you save it. Boom. It shows up just like this with just like the coach you're looking at. Anytime you made any changes, there was a menu and it reflected and then it updated right then and right there. There was no, you have to go back, wait. And this is on a plate. This is on an Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, like PlayStation 4s and stuff. Like, they did a really, really good job with this.
Yeah.
This is
for those guys that don't know, the gameplay director for this game is Scott O'Gallagher, right? And Scott O'Gallagher is the guy that when 2K was at its peak, Scott Gallagher was the gameplay director. When Madden was at his peak, Scott O'Gallagher was the gameplay director. Like, this guy is very, very well known in the industry. We know him very well. He's very well respected in the gaming industry and the sports gaming industry because he does stuff like this. This is his, and they brought him on because they knew he was the guy. And
you can see his imprint. You could definitely see his imprint is all over. His imprint is all over.
Choice, it's all over this game. So shout out to Scott Gallagher, and then also thank you for coming back and working on this game because this game was that important.
Right.
So again, just the UI is simplistic. You can pick your playbook. You can pick your alma mater. The new thing here is picking your pipeline, right? As you can see, it's not just picking a state anymore. If you remember the deep dive, they talked about how specific metroplexes and specific areas had specific types of pipelines, right? So the Metro Atlanta area is the one that he ends up choosing. It's because it's closest to Kennesaw State. And they have like specific player types that are specific to this area. If I were to pick East Texas, big receivers. If I were to pick like Central or South Florida, smaller, faster receivers would be my pipeline. And that just all depends on the type of offense that you're trying to run, which he's trying to run a pistol offense, right? And so pistol offense, you want receivers, you want big tight ends, you want fullbacks, you want those types of players that are
back, you want a scat back, you want
scat back,
potential halfback that can possibly play tight end or an H back, whatever you
A lot of versatility is what you need in an offense like this.
Right.
So, and then he played a 4-2-5 defense. I thought this was an interesting defense to pick. And I think he just used the default defenses for this, but you can change what defenses you want to run in the game. And then you guys remember in the older games, this is going to be similar when we talk about offensive and defensive aggressiveness. This is more for sim. So in recommendations, you can pick like, hey, I want to be heavy, pass heavy, or on offense, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and that's what this is. So again, very simple, very clean. So we'll move on from there. This is a screen that you guys remember, right? You sign your contract. Details, Tim. Remember what detail? You know what detail is cool here, and you know that's what's about to come up. You've seen this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a graph.
So he goes in. He has the graph. Obviously job security. We talk about detail in this game. Just such a small detail. Made this so cool. You actually sign the contract. You have a signature. So whatever your name is, you will actually have a signature. We talk about details. This is what it means when it comes to details. And it's just so cool. All right. We'll talk about the skill tree. I understand a little bit more about the skill tree now because it makes more sense. So he picked the recruiter skill tree is what he picked, right? Within that skill tree, there's different, he picked the recruiter archetype. Within that, you have different, you have other archetypes that go into that. And within each of these archetypes are your skills.
Right.
So 3 layers, right? So this one is automatically, or you can't see my mouse. This one is automatically unlocked because that is what he picked at the beginning screen. So 1, 2, and I think it's it's recruiter, motivator, scheme. This is the 3rd one, right?
Yeah.
So those are the 3 main ones. In order to unlock the other ones and be able to get into those, you have to take your coach points and you have to accomplish these goals right here.
Right.
So he might have this. So right now, in order for him to get the next skill available, and then you have to take your skill points that you get up here, and you actually have to invest in those skills.
Right.
So right here, this is an archetype, right? He'll go into it here in a second, and I think he shows it off. I think it's the buffering on this is so bad, but yeah. You'll see here in a second, he's in the recruiter tree, right? The recruiter archetype. And within the recruiter archetype are all these. Jesus, you got to be kidding me. Okay.
Change the what you call it? The settings. Bring it down to 720p.
It is on 720. Auto 720. There you go.
Bring it down to 480.
It's good now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe not. It's just when I make it bigger and make it smaller, there's a weird buffer lag. But now it's fine. Anyway, so now that he's in the recruiter archetype, this is what the actual skill tree looks like.
Right.
So I think this is what caused a lot of confusion, when they first heard about it. It's you talk about these archetypes and talk about these skills. They didn't show off. They showed off the skill trees, but they didn't explain it very well. And this makes it explains it a lot better. So you'll see that he cannot become an elite recruiter or have the elite recruiter archetype, the skill trees in the elite recruiter down here. This is a whole 3rd layer of skills that he can get. He cannot get those until he hits these. He needs to have 2 top 5 recruiting classes, and he has to spend 50 points up here before these skills down here can get unlocked.
That's crazy.
That's how this works. And it took, again, this is the reason why I wanted to see this in action, because now what they were saying makes a lot of sense. Right. So what he's going to do, and you'll see this happen initially. I don't know why it's doing that. Is you'll see him start to spend points up here in the skill trees up here. And then it'll unlock this, right? So tier 1's going to be advanced look OL. So this first skill that he unlocks, advanced look offensive lineman, when he unlocks it with these 5 points, he will have essentially 1 out of 4 in here, and it will take less time for him to go when he goes into scouting and scouts an offensive lineman. It'll take him less time or less points to scout him at 100%.
Yeah.
And then he says he does that because he's trying to get an offensive lineman that's a 4-star, right? For example.
Which is dope because you have something that you have to accomplish outside of just winning the game. Like if you need, 200 yards to get these coaching points, if you need 150 yards of total offense in the first half, there's things that you need to better yourself as a coach, because even if you win games, your archetypes are not unlocked, you're gonna still struggle in other aspects of the game. So that it's a game within a game, but this is more of like do you remember like Madden back in 03 and 04 where they had the mini games? This is what this is like now. This is like, all right, not only do I need to play this game, I need to make sure I do this stuff in this game so I can win this other portion of the game. And I forget what's the content creator's name. I don't want to butcher his name.
This guy? This is not the expert.
Okay, so not the expert made it very clear that you're not gonna be great at everything. Correct. So it's imperative that you get, if there's areas of attack that you want to go to. If you want to be a great recruiter, but you still want to have a motivator, you need to make sure that your assistants that you're hiring is that motivator, or the assistant that you're hiring. I forget the other archetype off the top of my head, and he's that person, or the tactician. If he's a tactician, make sure you get yourself a tactician. If that's what you want to cover, you may want to just triple up on being a recruiter and go from there. And you can do that because each archetype stacks. So if you get 3 recruiters and that's what you want to focus on, that's fine. It'll stack on top of that. And
that's the thing that he's going to get into later. Actually, said he wanted the offensive line. He does offensive lineman later. You can actually see him purchase the skill for quarterback here. So if you go back, he's like, my quarterback sucks. I know I need a quarterback. And he purchases the skill for quarterback. So now he's got 1 out of 4, and he's got tier 1 in this skill within this archetype. Right. So this skill within this archetype is 1 out of 4. If you think about it, if you play looter shooters like I do, Borderlands, things like that, it's like you have a build. 2K, right? You've got a build. I want this player, but I want to get this specific skill. Because it's going to boost this specific whatever, because I want to be able to accomplish this at the end.
Right.
All this works at the end of the day. It's just a matter of seeing it.
They literally took the sports game and turned it into an RPG.
Basically, I mean, that's all recruiting is an RPG, right?
Right.
So now when he goes into recruiting and I love this too. Again, this is just small things, right?
Right.
Remember in college football 20 or in NCAA, when you entered, you just saw these recruits and you're like, wait,
automatically added them to a board.
Why is my board already full? You start with an empty board, and I think you and only you can add people to your board.
Right. But no longer are the hey, we added these players that are interested in your school.
Right.
I hated that about NCAA. I still every now and then I still forget to turn that off. Because you could be recruiting guys and weeding guys out, and then your recruiting board is where you want it to be. You think you're good, you save it, you leave out, you play a game, you advance to the next week. Now you got 15 new recruits in there. You're like, wait a minute.
Where did these guys come from?
How did I even get these guys? You don't have to worry about it.
It happens, But you'll see it here when you go, it's in the screen when you go to add prospect. There's actually a separate filter for recommendations, and that's always going to change. So it's still there. It's just a matter of where they put it.
Right, and it's going to change based on need, right? If you recruit what you need, they'll move on to the next thing.
Yep,
I think that's amazing.
And again, it's just a small thing, but it's a big thing, especially guys that are content creators that create a lot of content, guys that are doing like specific types of challenges within these rebuilds.
Right.
I don't know why this keeps refreshing, and it's actually kind of getting on my nerves. Let me refresh this. All right, cool. You guys can watch my my ad with me as we give not the expert a couple dollars there. And we'll give him 2 more.
Not the Rangers. Not you giving the Rangers money.
Hey, man. Solo yellow. All right, now that this is refreshed, so you'll see that his recruiting board starts empty, and then you can finally click a button down here, and you can see what all your team needs are. So simple. And it's all, not only can you see what your needs are, you can even see who's on the freaking roster.
Right. Which was very difficult to do. Very difficult to do.
Because you have to back out. You're like, okay, I know I need a halfback. Oh shoot, but what do I have on my team? Oh, now I gotta back out. Oh shoot, now I had to like wait for it to load, and then I had to go back into my depth chart. Okay, I remember I had this guy and this guy. It's all right here now. He knows he needs 2 quarterbacks. He knows he's got this Bohannon guy. He knows what their overalls are, what their specific archetypes are, right? He knows what year they're in. He knows how much they weigh, what they're like. Everything you need to know is right here.
That's amazing too. The fact that you don't have to do that, it's quick. If you think about it, and I don't know about you, but I know for myself, going through the recruits of the past, right, the old NCAA games, and again, this is all based on the technology that was out then. But it would take me anywhere, and the only reason why I know this is because my continuation of me playing the game.
No,
you spend about a good 30 to 45 minutes if you're in, like, if you're
hours on this board. If you really wanted to do it right, you could spend hours on this board.
Right. It's like if you, I know for a fact, like, I tried to make it as minimal as possible, right, with the recruits that I wanted, just because it would take forever to recruit every single player. That within itself, again, finding the needs that you wanted for your team, whatever you know, scrolling through, looking for gyms, and we'll touch that in a moment. But just kind of scrolling through all those players, and then on top of playing the game, one game it could go 45 minutes to an hour just recruiting, and then another 45 minutes to an hour just playing a game.
Yep.
This is gonna chop that in half.
Yeah, I mean, probably more than that, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of the UI. I wanted to see what the recruiting board looked like in real time. We'll kind of skip from here. I wanted to show you the scouting, and then this is the other thing I talked about. Now there's you're still going to get your recommendations, right? Those recommendations are still going to be there, but it's its own tab, and it's its own filter. And the recommendations they give you is its own filter, so you don't even have to have it like right there, which is really, really cool. It's just clean, right? And then you can see what your pipelines, what everybody's pipeline is, and what's level pipeline you've got, and that's based off of this pipeline is based off of proximity to home. I think that changes. So if you were to Georgia guys is a two second tier proximity, that's because they're in the state of Georgia, and that's your pipeline. And it probably is less at 2 because it's probably like a different part of Georgia, right? So it's probably not Atlanta. It's probably somewhere else.
Yeah, this is in depth. This is the overhaul, and this is amazing. And again, shout out to those guys. Again, shout out to those guys at College Revamp that they
Really
held it down for a long time. They held it down for a long time. They constantly rebuilding the game, constantly making NCAA 14 better. And so shout out to them because EA did openly admit that they did work with a lot of those guys from the revamped team to make this game what it is and what we see right now. This is a work in progress feature. So we don't know how long ago this build was, but I want to say this is I don't want to say this is a gold disc version, but this is very, very close to gold disc.
Very close to gold. I think Not the Expert said this was an older version. This is still an older build.
Right.
But again, I don't think I just want to show real quick because he scouts a player, and this is actually kind of cool because this player was like 100 overall speed, which I thought was kind of cool. But again, I think that's just like based on like criteria that they put in there, and they probably like tweaked it a little bit to have a few different things to find some stuff. But you talk about like scouting and what, and just how quickly he's able to do this stuff. I think is another big thing to call out.
Very quick.
It's just so smooth. Like you can see
no lagging.
Yep. There's no lag.
That was the thing with Madden. Madden was not good when it came to
annoying, right?
The UI.
Yeah. So you can see what his attributes are because he's scouted fully. And it's like, oh, wow, this guy might be pretty good. You can also, it's just a little UI things like when you found a gem, how it like pops up. Very, very cool. When you like offer a scholarship to somebody, which you'll see here in a second, the little shake hand emoji pops up because you've offered a scholarship. Just like little like cool UI things like that. But then he's able to like fully go through this whole thing all in probably less than a minute, right? If he was just doing this, he's probably going to do all this in less than a minute.
Right.
And that's just because it's him doing the video. It's taking a little while.
I like the fact that you can go in and you can look at that's awesome. I like the fact that you can literally go in and see what teams. You don't have to do any scrolling. There's nothing there that's, you don't have to jump into another page. It's all there. It's all there. Timothy Warren says, yo, what's happening? What's happening, Timothy Warren? What's going on, my man?
What's going down, Timothy Warren? How you doing, my guy? We appreciate you jumping in here. You got any questions or anything? Let us know. We've got 75 people in here, so if y'all got any questions, I know our Twitter is not working for questions, so if you guys got questions, jump on the YouTube, ask the questions there. We'll be glad to answer them. We've seen enough of this game at this point, so I think we've got a pretty good baseline idea of how things are working, and we're just kind of showing it off. So we're just watching the Not the Expert video from earlier as he does a dynasty rebuild. I'm stuck in Dallas with no connection. Brew. So are you going to be back in Austin by Monday, my guy? Wait, is this TJ Warren?
Yeah, that's the TJ.
Oh, no. TJ, my guy.
Yeah.
You are stuck in Dallas with no – bro, we gotta make some moves, my guy.
You gotta make some moves, man. You gotta make some moves.
You can make some moves. But anyway, it's just like how simplistic it is and how easily he's going from menu back in Dallas. Ooh.
Oh.
Brutal.
Ooh.
Yikes. Like, wait, hold on a second. Like, back in Dallas, like you live in Dallas now?
He lives in Dallas now.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oofta. Hey, man. Yeah. I'd be putting my hand on my face too. Why did you move to Dallas now of all times? You know what? That's a conversation that we can have offline. We don't need to have that conversation here. I feel bad for you, my guy, but you better be ready on Monday. That's all I'm going to say.
You mean Sunday night?
Sunday night, 10 p.m.
Oh my gosh, man. I got to find a way to get a digital copy.
Brutal.
I might jump out there and hit up one of the old homies. Like, hey man, how's it going? You mind if I get a code?
You should help me out here a little bit. But But yeah, I think that's the other cool thing is how the deal breakers are laid out. It's very clear when you can't get to a guy because there's a deal breaker, right?
Right.
Very clear. I know who it is. I know why because it tells me right here. This guy is pro potential is what his deal breaker is. So deal breaker is basically like if you don't have a certain one of those 14 like attributes in a certain spot, you're a deal breaker. Essentially meaning you can't talk to a guy whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's very clear because this is grayed out. It's in 14 you had the little lock and you had to go look for it. Here I clearly know that I can't talk to this guy. It's
Right.
very clear. I love it. I love it. And then this tells you down here why. Just little UI things that just make things simple. And it's
like that you can still look at this guy like Khalil Boutte.
You can see how things play out week over week because something could happen. Here's the cool thing. They're not fully committed until National Signing Day, right? So
Right.
if you like something in this situation, it's not going to be the case because you've got to wait to see guys get into the pros. But if there's like championship contender, for example, is a deal breaker for somebody, and you start to win games and you win the conference championship, that deal breaker could go away because it updates live in season. So then this guy does become available, and you might have something else that could help convince him to stay. And so now you might want to adjust how you change your scouting because again, that is something that happens in real life. When people commit in this game now, it's just a commitment. They are not. It's not a hard commit. It's just a soft commit. I love that they put that in here.
One of the things which is interesting, that could potentially happen also is like this is Khalil Boutte, right? His top choice is Ohio State, Texas, and some other team, right?
Yeah.
He could go to that school and not pan out, right? So even like let's say you're working on your next class, right? He goes, it doesn't work out. Let's say he goes from a 5-star to a 4-star. You have an okay season. Let's say you win 8-9 games, right? So you win 9-3. You won your bowl game. You look good. You may not have won the conference championship. You may not have lost the conference championship, but you were still there. Well, if this guy hops in a transfer portal, you can talk to this guy
because he remembers that you've talked to him during. Well, if you get to a point to where you can talk to him, he'll remember.
Yeah, if you get to a point to where you can talk to him, you'll be able to talk to him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that is just because you don't get him now doesn't mean you can't get him later if you do what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And I know that sounds very general, but it's
how it works in real life.
It's just how it is. That's just how it is, man.
So you'll see where his top 5 schools are: Alabama, SC, LSU, Texas, Ohio State, and then up here, this thing loads. You'll see he's a national number 8, number 1 in the state of California, which is crazy, and number 1 in its position nationally. And okay, there we go.
That's crazy.
I don't know why it's doing that, but this is another guy. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I don't want to sit. This is an hour long. You guys can go back and watch this later. Oh yeah, and this is what I wanted to show off. So he actually decides to scout this one prospect, and you can see it costs 10 points every time he clicks that scout button. And you see the cool thing is just like in real life, smaller schools have less resources. So if he's using 10 scouting on this guy, there has to be a really, really good reason for him to do that. Right. So I think this is so he knows that this Max Shelley guy is better because he's rated higher because it's already on the board, right? He already knows based on certain criteria that certain pieces of work that he's already done. He already knows that this guy is higher than this guy. Number 1, because he's rated higher on the board.
Right.
Number 2, he's done his scouting on both of them, so he knows he's rated higher on the board. And number 3, it tells you right there that he's 13 and 12, right?
Yeah.
But he can't talk to either of them because there's deal breakers.
Right. And even then, you still are able to go and see what it is that is there, what's available, what's not, and you don't have to jump and hop around to see this stuff. This is what was absolutely dreadful. Again, looking back at it and playing it now, it is harder to play that stuff now because just the amount of stuff and the amount of information that they were putting into these games, like those systems couldn't handle that. And now with this UI and how things have progressed, like all of this stuff is right there at the tips, and you don't even have to do anything. That's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And you know how rewarding it is to find a gem, dude. Oh man, that's a rewarding feeling, man, to go in there and find a gem.
Yeah, especially when it shows up the way it does in this game right here. And he's talking about like what it looks like. So he's gonna go look at this Wisniewski guy, who's a 5-star. And again, I don't know what the tweaking on this is like. I think it's probably tweaked a little bit different in this just so they can show it off. But you'll see that he'll go in here, he'll take a look at all the schools that are interested, and then he starts to scout them at 100%. And once he scouts them, this thing is jumping around. Yep. Anyway, so he looks at this Wisniewski guy. Tim is going to jump back here in a second. And as he looks at him, he'll start to scout him, and he'll find out different pieces of information about him. You'll see he went from 0 to 100, and here you can see all these different things. Right now that he's scouted him at 100%, he's going to get everything that he needs to know about this guy. He won't know what his overall rating is, but he will know he's got 91 throw power, 75 awareness. He's got 87 break stack, 84 deep accuracy, 84 agility. He's got he knows 4 of the 5 abilities he has, right? So he knows his abilities are mobile deadeye, pull down, off platform, and extender. I don't know what any of these, if you're a Madden guy, a lot of these abilities are very, very similar. And he's got 2 out of 3 mental abilities. Remember, mental abilities, you can't get more, you can't change what you've got. But he's fan favorite in Road Dogg, and he has some sort of development trait that you don't know of yet. So again, just more information you can find out as you scout more on him. And he's labeled, this other guy he scouted is labeled as a bust, and that's something that he talks about in the video. Why it's skipping that way, I don't know, but the video is skipping. So he's going to go focus in on this Wisniewski guy, and because that's going to become the top guy that he looks at. And I'll skip a little bit forward in this. Oh, help me watch my ads. And he essentially, this is the guy that he finds it's like 100 speed. But he'll go on to find other guys, and he's just essentially filling up his board, right? And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play Georgia." He goes to play Georgia, and this is just him like what we were talking about earlier, where he goes in and he's like not able to change the play, or it looks like he's able to change the play. I think there's like a one snap where he like changes the play once so much that he ends up getting like a delay game or a false start. There it is. And this is what we were talking about earlier, right? A lot of this stuff is scripted and potentially scripted in a way. It's like, hey, show that you can't snap the ball. Show that you can't change the hot route, and do it multiple times throughout the game so that you can see, like, unless something happens, you can't do it. So,
right.
Is he bad at the game? I don't know how good Not the Expert is at the game, but also at the same token, I think some of the things that he's experiencing is legitimate. Like Georgia scores and the whole thing, the whole screen shakes. So he kind of shows that off a little bit. And then you get back to recruiting, and now you notice that even though he didn't play well, he got beat like 70-10, and he didn't play the whole game. He simulated, and that probably adds to that as well. So yes, he lost like 62-10, but he used the quick sim, and that probably also contributed to him getting his butt kicked, right?
Yeah,
or 72-10. So I don't think it's all him being bad. It's also like he simmed a lot of the stuff. Presentation.
Looks
This
great.
is cool. It's clean. It's to the point.
I do.
You know,
I do. I will say this. I do miss, they highlighting the player with the player attributes as he's like running out of the stadium. I do miss that. But I'm okay with it.
Wait, you mean this?
Like the. No, remember they would show like, remember they would have like ESPN College Player of the Game, and then that player would be like running out of the stadium, and they'd be like high fiving the fans in the audience, and they would have like his stats underneath the bottom. This is old NCAA. Your mic's muted.
You meant for like after the game?
Yeah. After
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not complaining about this. What we're seeing currently, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just thought that was that would have been dope to still have that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's little things that they can add later. So again, this is what Carson Beck looks like. And you notice, even though he got his butt kicked, he's still able to get enough experience to move up a level, right? And that's going to give him the ability to go add another development point, which this time he does it. He adds more to the quarterback because he wants to be able to, again, get that quarterback that he saw. And then he goes in and adds more to the offensive line because he's trying to get an offensive lineman to commit, right?
Right.
And so now you see more of the recruiting. You're able to see now he's got a little bit more. He's looking at his offensive coordinator. So remember they talked about if you're offensive coordinator and you have like similar stats or similar developments, it doubles, and there's a different for that. You'll kind of show what those. You can kind of see what that combined. And you'll see what his stats are and how it combines to be able to give you all this like crazy boosts.
Right.
The two. So now he goes and gets, and this probably helps him with getting that 5-star to 1-star because he's got all these extra boosts added on top of it.
Absolutely.
So that's something to think about there.
Yeah, man. This is a very heavily detailed game. The amount of work that they put into this is absolutely mind-blowing. It was okay. So for me, and I think me and you both agree, if this wasn't the same game, I think we would enjoy the game just as much, just because of the sheer fact that it's not been around for so long. But the fact that they went and did this and said, hey, we need another year so that we can put in what we want to put in.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with this.
I thought it was a great decision.
I think when this game does come out, and of course, there's going to be tons of stuff from now and until Monday. I think we're going to see a significant. This might be one of the highest rated sports games we've ever seen. I don't know. I don't know. Sure. I don't know what the highest rated sports game is. I know there's a lot of 2K5 guys out there. It's time to let that shit die. Like that's over with. I understand why people love the 2K series when it came to football, but if it was so great, they would have kept making more of them. They didn't. It's done. It's dead. Let it go. This, obviously, and again, we haven't played it, and if you want to say I'm glazing, cool. In my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've heard, this is the best sports game that is hands down.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Listen, I don't like the ratings. We can talk about the ratings. We could close out with the ratings. We could do whatever. I'm down. This is still going to be one of the best sports games to ever come out. That's just what it is, man. This is amazing, dude. I never thought we would get. This is what I was thinking we would get 3-4 years from now. They're giving us this from the jump.
I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. There's just another presentation thing. just to see
Yeah,
based on what's going on. Like that's, and then you can change the panel and you can see the other side of the bracket.
that's awesome.
That's so cool. Like you
Yeah.
have to used to be like go in and look at the thing or wait, right? And then there's the conference championship celebration that he shows at the end. I think this is it, right? Where they win the this is Conference USA, where they win the conference championship game. There's just more presentation stuff. The presentation, the UI are probably the gameplay is cool, right? I think the gameplay is very well. It looks very smooth. This is just the things. These are just the things that add to it. And then he's gonna fire. That's the other thing, right? Again, another
Dude, he
presentation.
straight up whacked his assistants. I was not.
I wasn't. He's like, yeah, these guys suck. So I'm gonna get them out of here. You guys go in. We'll put in the. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. The link to this video. You guys can watch the whole thing. It's very, very good. As you guys see more stuff here. Anything else you want to cover on this, Tim? Is there anything in here that you wanted to check out?
No, man. I think we've talked about majority of it in the game. I'm just happy that this game is back. I don't want to continue to harp on it. It's just like it is what it is. It's here. We've seen it. I would not be. I don't know how you feel. I don't know what you got going on this weekend. If there's some stuff that we see that's crazy over this weekend, I think we should jump on and talk about it. I just think, just out of the spirit of the game, just coming out, like, I just think we should talk about it. And shout out to those Amazon boys that are probably going to get the game on Sunday or Saturday. Screw you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Man, shout out to y'all, man, because, Amazon always, they try to make sure they get the big stuff in on time. So this is definitely one of those. But, yeah, man, I'm just excited for the game. There's nothing else I need to talk about from that Dynasty perspective.
All right, let's end on ratings. I'm gonna pull up the ratings real quick. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really confused with these ratings.
Me too.
I don't think they make any sense. So, shout out to Orange Bloods. I know these are the only guys I can find ratings from that looked clean, easy to read, and I like clean and easy read. So, shout out to those guys. I think Wes is the guy that runs their Twitter channel.
Yes.
But yeah, so these are the ones that we know of, and I think we found out most of these through like other ways. Again, just genius marketing, right? They let Josh Pate put out a video on how he played it with Texas, and how he was there. He showed off some of their rating. Just a smart way to do it. Just marketing this game was smart.
Yeah.
CJ Baxter, all bad, bro. I'm going to throw you a follow there, my guy. But these are some of the ratings that we know of. Quinn obviously is a 92 overall. I'm fine with it. I don't think that he should be the highest overall rated quarterback, which he isn't. But I also don't think that the highest rated overall quarterback should be the highest rated overall quarterback either.
I don't believe so either.
I think Carson Beck should have been the highest rated overall quarterback. I do think he's the best quarterback in the country coming into this year. I think Quinn Ewers is probably 2 or 3. You can argue each way. I don't even think Shedeur is top 5.
I don't think Shedeur is top 5 just because of, again, one of the major ratings is injury, and he was definitely injured last year. So I didn't look at his injury, but I'm hoping it's not like in the 90s. It definitely shouldn't be in the 90s. It should be in the low.
Well, it makes awareness 98, so you don't know.
That's
his awareness is more like 50. But
listen, I don't have an issue with anything that Shedeur said. I don't have an issue with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I don't have an
issue with Shedeur Sanders. I have an issue with the media that pumps up Shedeur Sanders in Colorado. That's my issue with them. Right. You know how they talk about how like players or people hate teams because of what the media make them to be. Colorado is one of those teams. I don't dislike Colorado. I don't really care that they're an irrelevant school, but the media makes me dislike them more.
Right. It makes sense, man. It makes sense.
But we'll talk about Arch here in a second because I think he's getting some of that same treatment.
He's definitely getting the same treatment.
Isaiah Bond, 88.
Wait, let me ask you this. No, go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Okay. Silas Bolden, 86. Matthew Golden, 86. You know, somebody put their speed ratings, and I thought that they underrated Silas Bolden's speed.
92 is still fast for a day one game.
It is.
A day one game.
But Isaiah Bond is faster than a 92. I'm sorry.
What should his speed be?
I think it's more like 95. Isaiah Bond is that fast. Dude, they're saying Isaiah Bond has Xavier Worthy type speed. Like he can run a 4.2, 4.3.
Man, that's nuts.
So he's going and he's a very good route runner too. Isaiah Bond's gonna have a really good year with Texas this year. Just wait.
Yeah.
I actually thought CJ Baxter was kind of high.
You think so?
Yeah, and I think the reason why I think that is because he was hurt so much.
Well, yeah, he did start off. I mean, but you got to think about how.
But he did play.
He started out slow, but he ended very well. He ended very well.
True. His last three, when he came back after Jonathan Brooks got hurt, he did play well. Yeah.
So I'm okay with the Jonathan Brooks. I'm sorry, CJ Baxter rating. I didn't think that was an issue. Where I felt there was an issue, I think my guy Anthony Hill is
low, bro. At least an 88, right? At least an 88. Like, what are we doing?
I'm just saying, bro. Even he even made a tweet. He tweeted about it. He was just
replied to it.
He's like, that's disrespectful.
Yeah. I'm very happy to see Andrew Makuba and Trey Moore both at 89 overalls.
Yeah.
In that video by Not the Expert, where he put the Texas long national championship game at the end. Mm-hmm. Trey Moore actually has a big hit and a fumble recovery touchdown.
Nice.
And it looks sick.
I need to watch that. I need to watch that again.
Cool. So Trey Moore, 89, very happy to see. Andrew Makuba, 89, very happy to see. Malik Muhammad, I thought was a little low.
Yeah,
I think he's just as good as his cousin. And he's
I think he should have been at least an 88. At least an 88. Listen,
I would put him in that. Hey, this second actually be pretty good this year.
I'm interested to see what Jahdae Barron's rating is. I think he's one of the best defensive backs on that team for sure. So I definitely want to see where he ends up as far as ratings are concerned. One of my questions for you before we kind of jump on this Shedeur and Arch Manning thing. Do you think these ratings are based off of nepotism? Nepotism has been a really big conversation within the last couple of weeks, honestly, with the whole LeBron James thing, him making contact with teams saying, "Hey, don't draft him. If you do, we're gonna send him to the Australian League."
That's actually pretty funny,
dude. So there was a couple of teams that was interested in drafting him, and Rich Paul, which is his agent, makes sense. Basically his uncle was like, "No, like if you draft him, he's not gonna come. He's gonna go to Australia and he's gonna play in the league in Australia. So don't draft him." He was literally calling teams that were interested, or talking to teams that were interested, and when they called, he said, "Don't draft him." Until they got to the Lakers.
That's fun. That's hilarious.
So do you think those ratings are based off of nepotism?
Yeah, nepotism. Yeah, listen, I think Shedeur Sanders was rated higher because his dad, who his dad is. I do think that. I think Arch is rated higher because of who he is, and because they both got NIL bags. I don't care what anybody says. Shedeur got an NIL bag.
Oh, for sure. Well, you see, he's one of the highest paid athletes in the country.
Yeah, he definitely got an NIL bag. So, the guys that got NIL bags is very obvious who they are.
Right.
So, Yeah, I definitely do think nepotism played a role in all this for sure.
Okay, that's fair. The only reason why I ask is because, again, that's been the talk, within the last couple of days. Even with Shador and the Big 12 Media Days, they asked about the ratings and things like that, and Coach Prime said that Shador was rated too low, which I'm like, he's the best quarter. He basically said Shador should be at 95. And I was like, okay, but you're
Deion?
Yeah.
Yeah,
said,
I don't listen to anything Deion says. I don't watch any of those clips.
Listen, I still love Deion the player.
Something sane. Unless I know it's something sane, I don't watch anything he says. He was he said he thinks Shador and Travis are going to be rated drafted 1 and 2 in the draft next year. Dude is smoking crack, bro. I'm just I just let it go.
Fair. Okay. Well,
yeah,
I'll just end that there then. You believe me and you both believe it's based off of nepotism, which is fine. There's not going to be a lot of these guys. Man, that looks good.
This is another really cool celebration. UCF, they got their first off, they got their powder blue jerseys. Oh, did you know West Virginia didn't even unveil their new uniforms yet until the gameplay came out today?
Yeah, they the Broncos did the same thing.
Well, they didn't want to reveal it yet. It was not scheduled to be revealed today. But then Not the Expert put out that video and they're like, well, since NCAA ruined it, here you go.
Yeah. But yeah, the Boise State did the same thing. Well, no, they didn't leak it, but they basically used game clips as their trailer for the reveal of those uniforms.
Yeah.
Shout out to Texas Baseball News. Texas
Baseball News. Hook 'em horns. Baylor earlier when the trailer came out, that's how the Baylor uniforms got unveiled too.
Hey, listen, man, I'm all for it. If you have a new uniform and you want to use that game as a precursor to get fans hype,
it's actually smart.
It's really dope. The fact that they're even putting these new uniforms in the game is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it's super dope. The thing I wanted to call out here is the just again, every school is its own, right? The cool smoke, when UCF scores. Just another detail that's just super cool.
This is amazing, dude. Just the way this is moving, just the way oh man, it's so good. Oh, that's a bad pass.
I think he was actually doing this on purpose because he wanted to show the mascot kind of moping around, and he was basically like, hey, can you find the mascot? Which I actually haven't been able to find him, but I think there's a reason he was trying to do this. But he finally scores, and you see the mascot running and celebrating in the middle of the field.
That's awesome.
Like that.
Look at the snow, man. That's crazy. Remember playing in a snow game used to be a big deal? That's awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if they showed this one. Might be the Golden Gopher.
The gameplay looks so crazy.
Yeah, that's the new Virginia Tech jersey. Go watch the video. There's a celebration from Minnesota, and it actually shows the Golden Gopher mascot turning his head around.
Okay.
It's dope. It's man. Baseball, we're doing awesome, man. We're so excited for this game. We've been waiting for this game, probably just like everybody else, for so long. Yeah. We are so stoked for this game. So we're doing good, man.
It hits different because where we came from and what we've just endured over the years, man. This shit is good. Man, I never thought this, man. If you think about it, our first interaction was like this, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, whenever NCAA was at NCAA 11 or 10, one of those.
11.
Oh my God, dude, this is crazy, dude. We literally met because of this game, dog. we ended up like joining this game, and it just created a group, man, and the group's been tight ever since, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just a group of gamers that just wanted to play college football and play each other. Now we got that opportunity. It's a crazy time, man.
It's just insane. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to cover. I'm good. I'm just ready for the damn game to come out.
Man, I'm good too. I think again, I think we'll get more information. And Team Builder is what I think it's going to be. The way this game is going to be, it's going to be full of detail.
Whoa.
Oh,
hold on, Texas baseball news. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me check something out.
Y'all, but got some huge baseball news tomorrow.
Oh, this is at Texas Portal. Hey, whoa. You
Have
don't
a great night,
just do stuff like that.
No, you came in and dunked it on us.
Bro, listen, hold on. I got you, fam.
Wait a minute. Shout out to that. Shout out to Texas baseball news and coming in breaking stories and then dipping out. I appreciate that. That makes us look real good, dog.
Listen, I just sent you a DM, my guy. I don't know why. But hey, y'all reach out to Texas baseball or follow at Texas Portal on Twitter. Shout out for breaking news. It is breaking news tomorrow. We appreciate it. We got to get out of here. It's 10:30. I want to eat. Have you been watching Receiver? Have you watched it at all?
I plan on watching that tonight.
Watch 3 episodes and it's good.
It's good. Okay. Again, I kind of wanted. I didn't. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the cast. I'm not gonna lie. I do like Justin Jefferson. I do care about, of course. Like he's really, really good.
I'm gonna tell you this. George Kittle's wife is awesome.
George Kittle's wife. That's what the thing. I was just like, I'm not a big George Kittle guy. Like
I'm not either.
I respect his game. He's a monster.
And his wife is cool. I didn't realize they didn't have any kids.
They don't have kids?
They live like the life I live.
Right. Just you newlyweds, basically. You're still on that newlywed stage.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to hit 3 years. Yeah, we're just having a good time.
The newlywed stage, from what I understand, is from 1 to 5. Once you get from 5 years, you're good.
Welcome on, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Before we go, I just would like to say thanks everybody who stuck it out with us. Again, this is a great time. Shout out to Matt the Pen Brown. You know what I'm saying? He came in again, giving us information to the masses, feeding it to us, staying on top of it, being diligent. I imagine within the next couple of years there will probably be another Matt Brown, but this is the guy. This is the guy to bring it all forward. My man Harish, again, thanks to you. You're really good at building relationships and jumping out there and talking to people. That is not necessarily my forte. And again, I understand, you simply just get out there and you talk to people. I appreciate it. Again, man, we here, dog. This is it. Yeah. This is wild, man.
It is very exciting to be here. We waited for this very, very long time.
It's crazy because we're getting this game along with probably one of the most important times in college sports, and that's just unheard of, man. This is wild. This is a wild time, man.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely been a very, very fun time. but we are very, very excited.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
Get wild.
we're very, very excited.
We'll have more news for you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we are gonna have some crazy news for you guys tomorrow, but it's been a good time. We've got to get out of here. My name is Harish. That's my guy.
Oh, wait. Before that, we have a major announcement coming tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the channels. I will be releasing some information that will come at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So just be on the lookout. You don't want to miss that.
Okay, 11 a.m. Eastern Central. Hey, I have no idea what Tim Wayne's announcing. He just told me something was dropping.
We're gonna start the on the road to the giveaway.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, no.
Yeah. I'll just have more information before everybody come out.
I didn't know what it was. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All righty. Well, my name's Harish. That's my guy Tim Wayne. We're out of here. Peace.
So Gabriel.
Go home, touchdown like the end zone. When the circle to the my home, can't get